Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you tonight is exquisite. GOA is jumping into the fray to call out YouTube directly. The board of directors for GOA is demanding answers from YouTube as to why they are coming after the channels that push forward the Second Amendment. Guys, this is a big deal. We are unifying on the Second Amendment, and nothing is going to get in our way as we continue our move straight forward with these Second Amendment rights for this generation and the next. Please let me know what you guys think. Send some love to GOA from taking this gamble and putting this forward and sending it to the CEO. And without much more ado, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. I'm going to walk you through this bad boy. I have not seen this yet from a gun rights activist organization. Check this out. They are diving right into the fray, and I love every second of it. But as I mentioned, this is the letter that they just sent. Now, it's to the CEO. You can see right there. I'm going to read it real quick and add a little commentary between, because this is a really well-written piece of outreach. Put it that way. Dear Mr. Mohan, we write to address a matter of grave concern that has come to our attention regarding a formal change in YouTube's policies towards firearms-related content. The new retroactive policy, very important, will apply the following to all existing content on the platform. Content showing the use of homemade firearms, automatic firearms, and certain firearm accessories will be age-restricted. Content showing how to remove so-called safety devices will be banned, but firearms in movies, video games, military footage, police footage, and war zone footage will not categorically be age-restricted. Now, that's a very important point that they put in here, and it's going to come back and to bite them, but they laid it out nicely. Let's continue. Restricting access to adults only for content that depicts constitutionally protected activity is wrong. This policy change aims to push an ominous narrative to minors that firearms are evil while allowing Hollywood and the anti-gun corporate media to continue to push false narratives about firearms without restriction. Very true. Rules for thee, but not for me. Hence, as young Americans become adults, they will not question or push back on further violations of our Second Amendment rights because the truth has been censored. Now, what they're getting at here is if you hide all Second Amendment stuff, but you don't hide anything else from basically until age of majority, you're allowing the anti-gun propaganda to get in there through video games, through movies, which is extremely anti-gun, but you're discounting and age-restricting anything that's on the pro-gun side. That's a little bit of a discrepancy. Let's keep going. And we are almost done with my cold. I promise we're almost there. YouTube bears a great responsibility to the public as the new town square. That's important because of Section 230, where the public has a forum to debate and exchange ideas. But the use of so-called age restrictions for Second Amendment content, which removes content from the algorithm regardless of a user's age, weaponizes YouTube's policies to censor information on a protected right and impedes the spreading of information directly related to the right to keep and bear arms. Beautifully well said. We also fear these developments and changes in user agreements will have a chilling effect on the First and Second Amendments, which is highly troubling. We find the timing of this change of rules in the midst of an election cycle extremely suspect. That's key. It's very interesting, the timing, isn't it? As it will certainly impact each and every American. We are further concerned that this move was encouraged and orchestrated to favor the left side of the aisle in a disproportionate way through the issuance of rules which will solely affect the Second Amendment community within YouTube. Very true again. When looked at its entirety, these changes to rules do not entirely appear to be of your own accord. Here comes a tie-in. Listen to this. This is where it gets really uncomfy. But have an element of pressure from the forces that move against the American people's gun rights on a daily basis. While it is a matter of public policy around constitutional rights, we find the circumstances suspicious at the very least, or coerced at the very worst. Anti-gun groups are continuing their crusade against online firearms content with the hope of leveraging these efforts into censorship and lawsuits should social media companies refuse to comply. And at the behest of the gun control lobby, anti-gun politicians from Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg to Senators Elizabeth Warren and Richard Blumenthal have weaponized their governmental offices to threaten YouTube. GOA, which runs a YouTube channel with over 175,000 subscribers and counting, will continue to push back. The letter just tied it all together. I said he in a second because there's one person that signed it. The way that this is tied together, it's putting the outline of what the impacts are, the unfair advantage it gives to one side of the aisle, and also now tying together the coincidental timing along with pressure from the left-wing anti-gun groups, which just happened to coincide with the direction of this change. GOA is onto something. And this is, like I said, this is the first time you've seen something like this come out from a pro-gun activist group, and I'm here for it. Let's continue, because they've got some really pointed questions, which I think you guys are really going to like, and I can't wait to hear the answers to. It is because of the reasons above that we request an answer to the following questions in a prompt manner, as the enactment of your new policies will infringe and impede on the rights of millions of Americans and YouTube viewers. 1. What influence has the gun control groups of Giffords Law Center, Brady for Gun Safety, Moms Man Action, Everytown for Gun Safety, and March for Our Lives had on the development and implementation of these new rules? Tell me what they did and how they did it, and what brought you to the conclusion that this was a good idea, and what effort did the gun control groups put into it? Wonder if they're going to answer that one. 2. Has the Biden administration or White House been involved in any communications or input into this decision or development of new YouTube policies? 3. What influence, if any, has the Office of Gun Violence Prevention or the Vice President who heads the office had in the development of these rules and policy changes? So what they're doing is they are asking questions to say what exactly was involved, who was involved, and what pressured you to make this decision in the middle of a fraught election cycle. And by the way, the answer to these questions better be none of the above. And even then, I'm going to question it because we already have on record Alvin Bragg saying he pressured him to do it. But let's continue, because this is how it starts, people, and I love it. 4. What influence have Democrat senators and representatives of Congress for the United States or other Democrats like Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg had on the development and implementation of these new rules in the community agreement? 5. Have there been any lawsuits from the gun control groups or Democrat side of the aisle to pressure YouTube into this action? 6. What actions, if any, has YouTube taken to mitigate any and all impacts on the general election to take place in a matter of months? Have you commissioned any studies or analysis to gauge such an impact on your actions? Has this been considered, or is a YouTube concerned about how this could potentially impact or influence the 2024 election? 7. The effects of this action seem highly political given its timing. Why has YouTube decided to issue this change now rather than wait until after the election to guarantee avoidance of any perception of election interference? As the issue at hand is one of such pivotal importance to the rights of Americans concerning both their First and Second Amendment rights, we look forward to your prompt response to address our concerns. Sincerely, Sam Paredes, board member, Gun Owners of America. The board of GOA is getting involved to fight for the YouTube channels and the information that we distribute so that it is not taken aback or put behind an age restriction for the advancement of the leftist causes. But don't worry, the movies and all the video games, those can still go in just fine, but they're really bad if it's a different type. Do you see? What they just did in this letter, I expect to see more gun groups do, because this is the pressure that we need to see, and it was an exquisitely well-written article or letter. This is a really good piece, and it's an amazing start. And GOA deserves some credit, because they are the first ones that I've seen do something of this magnitude, of this detail, which puts YouTube on a very direct answer these questions now. And if you don't, well, that's not going to look very good. And that's what I've got for you guys. Drop GOA some love, drop a like, drop a share. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.